Good evening. Would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the roll, please.
Cochee?
Here.
Spinks? Here. Janutus?
Here.
Fluharty?
Here.
Smith?
Here.
Asbury?
Here.
Saunders?
Here. Council, you have the minutes of the special council meeting of August 29th, 2022. Any corrections to that? Seeing none, can I have a motion for acceptance by Spinks, second by Fluharty. Call the roll, please.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes. No, that was August 29th.
August 29th.
I have to abstain on that one.
Right. Okay. And you have the minutes of the regular meeting of September 6th, 2022. Any corrections to that? Seeing none, yeah, motion for acceptance by Asbury, second by Smith. Call the roll, please.
Okay, Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
And you have the minutes of the work session of September 19th, 2022. Any corrections to that? Seeing none, can I have a motion for acceptance by Fluharty, second by Janutus? Call the roll, please.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Abstain.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
And you have the minutes of the regular meeting of September 19th, 2022. Any corrections to that? Seeing none, a motion for acceptance by Asbury, second by Saunders. Call the roll, please.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Abstain.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty? Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Oh, we got it on that one. Okay, no problem. Under old business, ordinance number 10,015-22.
Which is an ordinance replacing ordinance number 9899-21 concerning section 911.01 entitled Resident Water Rates of our codified ordinances and declaring an emergency.
I have a motion for suspension by Spinks, second by Fluharty. Call the roll, please.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
No.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Asbury, second by Saunders. Mike? Jennifer? You want to-
This is an ordinance that's passed every year that we set the rates for water improvements or for the water fund. We charge rates for the purchase of water. We purchase the water from Cleveland and bill it back out to the residents. And it also helps pay for the cost of maintaining the water system. This year we're proposing actually a decrease of 3%. And we just ask that council pass this tonight.
Thank you. Questions? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
No.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Ordinance number 10,016-22.
Amending ordinance number 9900-21, pertaining to codified ordinance 911.03 entitled Rate Reduction for Disabled Persons and Senior Citizens for Water and Sewer Discounts and declaring an emergency.
We have a motion for suspension by Smith, second by Asbury. Call the roll, please.
Cochee,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Janudis,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Fluharty, second by Spinks. Jen, you can take that one.
And so we recognize the need to assist Bedford's senior citizens and the permanently disabled whose income levels are not sufficient to pay for the normal sewer and water rates. So we intend to provide again a 30% discount to these citizens of the city. Last year, the income level was $34,694 a year. It's been raised by 3% up to $35,734. That's your combined household income for each household.
Thank you. Questions? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Cochee,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Janudis,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Ordinance number 10,017-22.
It's an ordinance amending ordinance number 9901-21 concerning section 913.02 entitled Sewer Rates of our ordinances relating to the new sewer rates and declaring an emergency.
I have a motion for suspension by Spinks, second by Janudis. Call the roll, please.
Cochee,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Janudis,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Asbury, second by Saunders. Jen, you might take them all.
Yes, so we set the rates every year for the wastewater fund as well. As for the cost of operating, maintaining, and improving the sewer system. This year, we're proposing an increase of 4%. And just to let you know that this is actually a net increase of the water and sewer bill of 0.43%.
Questions? Seeing none, call the roll.
Cochee,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Janudis,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Reports, Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to touch on a couple items very quickly. Friendly reminder that the chipper service ends this week. Those that need to utilize the service and you haven't, please contact the service department and we can add you to that list. I also want to mention that we are currently advertising for an animal warden. That position is open. Anyone interested, please visit our website, as well as the social media postings. We have links on that. For those, or if you know someone that's interested, need to fill that position. We were contacted by Norfolk Southern last week that they're going to be doing some improvements to over near the West Grace Crossing. We don't have an exact date of that project yet. That roadway though, once it does take place, they're giving us a window of middle to end of October. That crossing will be closed for approximately 2 weeks. As we get more details as far as exact start date and duration of the project, and how long that the crossing and road will be closed, we'll share that on our website as well as social media outlets. I also wanted to mention, there's been a lot of questions. I believe a lot of individuals probably received some notification from NOPEC recently regarding the spike in everyone's electric bills. What we've done is we were just provided last week with a frequently asked question flyer information. If you have any questions, please visit our website. You can access that and view that to answer any of the questions that you may have. A lot of this has to deal with the spike in the rates. But also, if you have specific questions regarding your bill, please visit nopec.org, or the exact number that you can contact them at is 855-667-3201. I know a lot of people are experiencing that. Check out that FAQ sheet, or more importantly, sometimes if you just call the number and speak with them, they can guide you through the changes and hopefully when those may come back down. Full list of fall programs through the Parks and Recreation Department have been posted, so please visit our website in the Parks Department to view those for signups. And in regards to fall program, I just wanted to thank everyone that helped out last weekend with the Children's Fall Fest. All of the staff, all of the organizations, Metro Parks were there, Garden Club was there, BDA was there, weather cooperated, attendance was good, so thank you for that. End of report.
Thanks, Mike. Mr. Law Director.
I have no report, just want to thank you all for coming. If I could be of any assistance, don't hesitate to ask. Thank you.
Finance Director.
I do not have a report this evening, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Council, Mrs. Spinks.
Good evening, everybody. We'll just kind of iterate what Mike said. The Fall Festival was always so much fun. City does just a phenomenal job with that. It gets bigger and better every year. I used to do face painting, and during COVID decided not to do that and start doing crafts with the kids, and it was very heartfelt because the parents got involved too and sat down with the kids, and we had all kind of crafts and stuff and arts for the families. But kudos to the rec department, police department, everybody involved in that. Museum will be open for the first Friday. This is one of the residents, the Downtown Lights, one of their favorite, the superhero things. I'm glad y'all brought that back. I know Jeff's going to touch on that more, but just wanted to let you know that the museum would be open. Also, are the Bedford Historical Society Speaker Series, October the 14th. That's Friday at 7 o'clock in the community room. This is something we do every month now. If you want to get more involved in the Historical Society, please contact Louise Novak. We're always looking for more volunteers. Mike, I did notice that on the Cresswell, after the streets took so long to get them repaid, that Dominion is got some markers on there and might be doing some digging. Could you reiterate on that a little bit more?
We don't know exact timelines. Dominion is doing their main gas line replacement project on Archer. Once that's completed, the next area they're looking at is Cresswell. But we don't know when that will take place. We don't have any timeline or anything like that. I will say that, we don't permit them to start a new project till the other one, so their current one is buttoned up, but it appears their next area of focus is Cresswell.
Okay, because the residents were a little concerned seeing all the blue markers on after it just got repaid. Talking about streets and stuff, Mike, the car haulers are going down not only Grand again, but they're going down Willard. Got a couple calls on that. Speeding's still crazy. Just want to thank a couple of residents that got out. I was gone for a couple of weeks. Got out and picked up trash. I was kind of concerned. I was like, oh, trash is going to be really bad when I got back. So just want to thank those people and everybody that gets out, not just in my ward, but gets out and picks up trash and helps the city. That's always a nice thing. End of report.
Thank you. Mr. Janutus.
Thank you. Well, I'd like to say, Sandy, as you pointed out, that there's not as much trash, and I think that people are indeed going out and picking it up, and I know in my ward, it's pretty well picked up, I think, and it's a wonderful thing. Also, I noticed that along Solon Road, which belongs to the city, I understand that stretch is usually pretty trashy, but it's pretty cleaned up now, and I really appreciate it if the city is indeed the ones responsible for doing that. Point of clarity for my no vote on ordinance 10,015-22. I certainly am not opposed to the city lowering the water rates. In fact, I really am grateful that the city is, they're tweaking with their numbers and sharpen their pencils and realize that a automatic rate increase was not necessary. So I do appreciate that, but I did place the no vote because philosophically, and I've mentioned this before, I'm against the city charging a minimum water rate when absolutely no water is used by the customers. I don't believe that that's correct. People shouldn't be charged for water if they don't get any. Furthermore, our ordinance says that a minimum monthly water service charge shall be paid by each and every customer supplied with water, but that's not the case because many people are charged this fee without being supplied water. In fact, the water is shut off. So I just wanted to clarify my no vote. Thank you. End of report.
Actually, your no vote was against the suspension of the
I
ordinance.
voted no on both.
Yes,
I didn't want to, I want to make sure I got it. Sorry.
very good. Mr.
I
Fleury.
understand, but I did receive an explanation from the city, the rationale why they do that, so they do have a rationale for that. I just posed that out feature. Thank you.
Mr. Fleury. Yesterday, I got invited to, and I also help represent our city to the Jewish Memorial for the Holocaust people and the survivors and people that were involved in that. As a memorial that they do have up in Bedford Heights. It's in a cemetery over there by Northfield and Rockside, and I'm sorry, I don't know the name of that place. Is it Evergreen, or what is the name of it? Anybody know what that is? Is that what it is? Anyhow, there's a lot of people don't know this is there. There was a lot of people go do a lot of work for this organization, the Jewish people that get all this done. And there's only one major, and only one, Holocaust memorial, and that's in Washington, D.C. Well, they just passed through the House of Representatives to bring another one to here in Bedford Heights. And now it has to go in front of the Senate. If they pass it, then it has to go on to Joe Biden's desk, and of course he'll sign it. And then we will now have the second memorial here in Bedford Heights throughout the whole country. So that's a pretty big, important monument. And the Ohio already has recognized it as a landmark for the state of Ohio. And if you ever get a chance, go in there in that cemetery and see this amazing, all the names are on the wall from the Holocaust and the people that still living here that are survivors of the families and stuff. And it's just amazing how much of a history that really is. If you've never gotten, I've never really got dug deep into that too much, but I really learned a lot yesterday. Just 6 million of them people were, shot, killed, whatever else, however, where they got, it's a shame. And so it was a nice ceremony. There was at least 200-300 people there. A lot of your Kenny Yuko, the senator, and a few other dignitaries was there, the city, some of the mayors in the other cities and stuff. And it's good that they really pushed to get this done. And so it looks like it's on its way. And that's just another nice little piece of history that's going to be right in our backyard here. And believe me, if you get a chance, go up there and look it over and be amazed at what you can find out from that. So, end of report.
Thank you. Mr. Smith.
I'd just like to say good evening to everyone in attendance and those who are catching us on the wire. I really don't have a report. But I would like to say, Colony Club is continuing to improve their property. I think that's a good thing. I've never seen anybody in there or any of the other management spend money on that place. So that's a good thing. In the report.
Thank you. Mr. Asbury?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. City manager mentioned that the chipper service, this is the last week for the chipper service, so hopefully you got on the list. Leaf collection is due to start sometime middle of October, depending on when the leaves start dropping. I'd like to remind everybody to please keep the leaves on your tree lawns, because if they get into the street, they blow into the sewers and clog up the grates, and let's just try and keep those on the tree lawn. That would be appreciated. I would like to mention, we had a massive hurricane down in Florida, Ian. There were a lot of people affected. Our Bedford Fire Department's own Lieutenant Brian Harding is with Ohio Task Force 1, and they have been deployed down to Florida. Keep them in your thoughts and prayers. They're doing some great work down there. So, and everybody that was affected by Ian. It was a huge storm, and it traveled up into South Carolina. So keep those people in your thoughts and prayers. Historic District, we were going to be having a company starting, I believe it's October 10th. They're going to be repainting the light posts, refurbishing and repainting, because they, over the course of several years, the salt has eaten away the paint on the bottom. It looks pretty bad, so those are going to be refurbished and repainted starting this month. And Councilwoman Spinks had mentioned Bedford First Friday coming up this Friday. This is the last one of the year. This one, the date is, or the time has changed because of the getting dark a little earlier. So it's going to start at 5:30 and run until 7 o'clock. And again, this is calling out superheroes. BDA is closing out the first Friday season with a do-over of the Calling of All Superheroes on Friday, October 7th on the Commons. It's costume and cape time, so wear your favorite superhero outfit for prizes. Downtown shops will be open, and there will be local groups and nonprofits set up on the Commons. So come down and see us. Hopefully the weather holds out. This was rescheduled because of a rain out, and at this point it looks like maybe a little bit of rain and chilly, but dress warm, bring your kids out, and we'll have some fun. End of report. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Saunders?
Yes, quick question for Mike. I don't know if you saw, but the PUCO gave Norfolk Southern a significant amount of money to upgrade their crossing signals. They're supposed to be upgrading all the crossing signals with a 12-inch red LED light now, which is much brighter, so they can be easier seen. Do you know if our signals are included in this? And will it be also include the ones, since technically one of them sits off of the other railroad as opposed to just Norfolk itself?
Yes, I'm not aware of that. I can look into it, but we have not been notified of any of that work, or if what they've received any of the funds for, but I can check.
Okay, because we should make sure that we don't get skipped, because everything deals with the railroad, we seem to get skipped ever since Conrail disbanded. Can you possibly give us an update on what's happening with the water line in Harriman and Ennis?
What we're gonna be doing is determining if that's gonna take place. They won't both take place this year. Most likely it would be one or the other. But odds are it's gonna get pushed to the spring. We haven't had that meeting yet with the contractor. What we're looking to do is button up Broadway first. We had our punch list on Broadway last week and completed that with the contractor. Now we're gonna be meeting to discuss the water lines. Going through the winter, it's not something that'll be completed before the winter is over, meaning it's not like we can jump in there, or they can jump in there in middle of October and have that done by November, December. It's gonna be quite a long project, even just for one of them. So it's most likely gonna get pushed into next year, but we'll know that in the next week or so.
Okay, because school buses and everything else is affected by that, both of those projects. So, I don't know if anybody is paying attention to the Bedford City School District Facilities project that's upcoming, but they're having a meeting this Wednesday. Most people don't realize that the state of Ohio has mandated certain school policies, building, classrooms, and the whole bit. And if your buildings were built prior to 1970, it's cheaper to replace it than it is to rehab it. And the state will only give you money if you build new. So if you go to rehab them, which you have to bring it up to standard, it's gonna be 100% on your back. So the school system has formed a facilities committee, which I'm on it somehow. But in any case, that's good, 'cause being an engineer, I've dealt with it, and I've been working with Nordonia's school system, who's got even a bigger problem than we do here in Bedford. But be aware of the fact that there's gonna be a lot of upset people, depending on where and how the schools get rebuilt. They will probably all have to be rebuilt, because all our buildings are old, and they don't meet the current design standards that the state is mandating. So if you notice, Maple's already rebuilt theirs, Garfield's rebuilt some of theirs, Westlake has rebuilt some of theirs. A lot of the school districts have already started. Bedford now is getting underway on seeing what will be facilitated and needed. Because one of the things that is required is a 25-year student study, which means you're probably gonna not need as many schools as you currently have, or have schools as big as you currently have. So that will all be taking place now, probably within the next year, so stay up on it, because I guarantee it's gonna be a bond issue on the ballot to pay for it. So it's important to the residents to know this, what's going on. So I just wanted to bring that up. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a couple things. I was fortunate enough to go to the Maple Heights State of the City address last week, and actually Maple Heights is doing pretty good, which is good news for us. If they do better, we do better, and vice versa, and we work closely together, and I'm really happy to see that Mayor Blackwell is putting in a whole lot of work and doing a lot of good things there, and really bringing Maple Heights back up where it used to be. So I'm glad to hear that. I just want to congratulate Maple on moving forward with their projects, and they got a lot of stuff going on there, a lot of good stuff, as we do, and it's always, like I said, it's always good when your neighbors do good, because it just spills over both ways. And also on a different note, we still got a lot of cars on lawns. There's a pickup truck on Northfield, he's been there for I don't know how long, just west side of Northfield, just below Avery.
Yeah, he's there every day.
Yeah. But they're all over. And people just need to be reminded, and I know we mentioned it many times over the year, that we need to knuckle down on some of those. But it's the flagrant ones that just eat you up when you drive by and see them parked for no reason on the lawns. And with that, let's get on to new business. I have a motion to appoint Denise Lachowski to the Civil Service Commission for a 3-year term. Motion for such by Asbury, second by Saunders. Clerk, call the roll.
Cochee,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Congratulations. And at this time, we'll do a little swearing in. Couldn't do it before. Yeah, now that it's official. Yes. Yeah, this is a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to swear in. Raise your hand. Now raise your hand. I state your name.
I, Denise Blachowski,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio
and the Charter and laws of the City of Bedford, Ohio,
and the charters and laws of the City of Bedford, Ohio,
and faithfully,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the position of Civil Service Commission
of the position of Civil Service Commission
of the City of Bedford, Ohio.
of the City of Bedford, Ohio,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. This is a good thing, and I'm sure many of you know that Denise's mom, Nancy, was on the Civil Service Commission for many, many years. Did a terrific job all those years. And it's good to see you follow in her footsteps. And you weren't picked just because of that. You were picked for your background and who we thought would be the best to represent the council on this commission. So I congratulate you for that.
I appreciate that.
And look forward to working with you.
Thank you very much. The only
Anything
next
you wanna
person
say?
is, I appreciate the council's faith and willingness to give me the opportunity to serve the city in this way. I know that I know what an important part the safety force is for Bedford play, for our residents, for the city, for the surrounding communities. And it really helps to have good women and men assisting our communities in these way, and I want to be a part of ensuring that we have the right people coming to help, come in to work for the city and serving the residents.
Good. Very good. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you.
We'll get you to sign this after,
Oh, all right.
so don't run away.
I'll-
Okay. Do you have your John? Number B.
Okey-dokey. Can we get a motion to approve the planning commission's decision to, Affluent Solar, representing Michael and Kelsey Haggerty, owners of 133 Powers Road in Bedford, Ohio, requesting a zoning permit to install a roof-mounted solar system on the southwest side, in the front of the building, in the front of the house, and the northwest side of the dwelling. The planning commission approved it.
So it's simply yes, no, yes if you agree with the planning commission, no if you do not agree. Clerk, call the roll. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
We get the motion by Fluharty, second by Janutus. Call the roll. I'm sorry.
Coche?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Thank you. C?
Can we get a motion to approve the commission's decision approving Leon Sampitz as an architect for Crick Road Holdings LLC located, well, you don't need their address, proposing the construction of a 6,886 square foot addition to the existing 44,093 square foot structure on Crick Road for use as a soil stabilization processing center. And again, the planning commission approved that.
A motion for acceptance by Smith, second by Asbury. Call the roll, please.
Coche?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Ordinance number 10,023-22.
Authorizing a contract with Ferguson for construction materials needed to construct the new pool house at the municipal pool and declaring an emergency.
A motion for suspension. Spinks, second by Janutus. Call the roll, please.
Coche?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Motion for third and final, Saunders, second by Asbury. Jennifer, you want these, or Mike?
I can do it. Yeah, I'll just mention the next
For the
three.
next, yeah.
As everyone knows, we're going to be moving towards renovating the current pool house facility. And the full bid will be going out within the next 7 to 10 days. There's a couple minor adjustments. What we were able to do is we were able to secure a grant from Cuyahoga County for $150,000. And the funds can be, we submitted these three quotes, state bid items. A lot of it has to do with hardware, toilets, sinks, a lot of those items that fit in the state bid pricing. The county approved those purchases that we'll be able to submit for reimbursement. Same with later on, there is item number H. And one of the other, item number H outlines all of the design work that was able to, that went into this project, design of the current facility, the improvements to the current facility, all of that work is also able to get reimbursed. So what we're doing is we wanted to put these on the agenda so we can then turn around and submit them to Cuyahoga County for reimbursement of those items that were on the state bid list. What we are able to do though too is by securing that, we're able to get these items at reduced cost instead of it lumping it in to an overall bid package that goes out to our contractor will be purchasing them. So we're basically taking advantage of the pricing that's available and thus getting all of that reimbursed. So like I said, there's benches, there's toilets, there's sinks, there's the dividers for the restrooms, mirrors, dryers, all of that fall under those items. That's what's included in these three quotes.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Cochee.
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Janutus.
Yes.
Fluharty.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Asbury.
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Ordinance number 10,024-22.
Authorizing another contract with Gray Bar, who I believe is supplying the pool house, construction materials for the pool house, but I think it's the electrical equipment, or that's the plumbing. What's either plumbing, electrical, or other materials that are necessary, so. And declaring an emergency.
Motion for suspension by Saunders, second by Asbury. Call the roll, please.
Cochee.
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Janutus.
Yes.
Fluharty.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Asbury.
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Spink, second by Fluharty. Mike gave the explanation for these, so call the roll, please.
Cochee.
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Janutus.
Yes.
Fluharty.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Asbury.
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Ordinance number 10,025-22.
Another contract, this time with RepSource LLC for construction materials needed to construct the pool as well. And declaring an emergency.
Motion for suspension by Spink, second by Fluharty. Call the roll, please.
Cochee.
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Janutus.
Yes.
Fluharty.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Asbury.
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Saunders, second by Asbury. Call the roll.
Cochee.
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Janutus.
Yes.
Fluharty.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Asbury.
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Ordinance number 10,026-22.
Authorizing a contract, two-year contract with the auditor of the state of Ohio for preparation assistance of the 2022 and 2023 audits and declaring an emergency.
A motion for suspension by Smith, second by Saunders. Call the roll, please.
Cochee.
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Janutus.
Yes.
Fluharty.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Asbury.
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Spink, second by Fluharty. Ken?
It's usually Frank's, that's the problem.
So this is for an agreement with local, Ohio Auditor of State with their local government services. They help us with the audit for the city of Bedford, preparing it for presentation. And this is a 2-year agreement, and the cost is $22,500. That's the maximum for each of the 2 years.
Thank you. Questions? Call the roll, please.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Ordinance number 10,027-22.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 10,001-2022, authorizing a contract with GPD Group for services regarding the design, bidding, and permitting and construction administration costs associated with the renovation of the pool house and declaring an emergency.
A motion for suspension by Fluharty, second by Spinks. Call the roll, please.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Asbury, second by Smith. Mike? I think you already explained this one.
Yes, this is for all of the design work and construction administration that we would be utilizing through the engineer's office. We basically separated those costs out. We'd like to pass the ordinance, then we can turn around and get any of those costs throughout the project reimbursed by Cuyahoga County.
Good. Call the roll, please.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Ordinance number 10,028-22.
An ordinance allowing employee participants to make insurance plan premium contributions on a pre-tax basis for the calendar year 2023 through the Health Equity Wage Works and declaring an emergency.
Motion for suspension by Janutus, second by Spinks. Call the roll, please.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Saunders, second by Asbury. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. This is authorizing all of the pre-tax deductions for the employees, healthcare deductions, all of those items. Council is authorizing us to do that,
And we've been
which
doing
is a
this
standard,
for years and
standard
years.
practice. Yes.
Call the roll, please.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Ordinance number 10,029-22.
Authorizing a contract with GPD Group to further conduct, or to continue to conduct a no feasible alternatives analysis and declaring an emergency.
Motion for suspension by Asbury, second by Smith. Call the roll, please.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Spinks, second by Fluharty. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. Per our agreement with the Ohio EPA, we are working through a no feasible alternative study for our sewer system in the wastewater treatment plant. Earlier this year, we had authorized purchase and installation of various flow monitors at a number of locations throughout Bedford. The Ohio EPA had requested that we have additional temporary flow monitors installed at additional locations. Although questionable, we are working with the EPA. Previously, City Council had authorized those installation. We want to have these installed during the rainy seasons so we can gather the most accurate data during those heavy rain events as far as what our system needs when we further design the system through the no feasible alternative study. This ordinance will allow the engineers to put together the information with the additional meters that we passed at the last meeting. The initial one was just on the, I believe it was 6 or 8 that we had installed, and we passed legislation for those to be included in the study. Now that the Ohio EPA wants more, this ordinance authorizes them to conduct additional studies.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Now we come to a hearing of citizens. If you wish to speak, please come forward, state your name, your address, and your comment.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Heather Rhodes, 2401 Center. Good evening, City Manager Malice, Mayor Cochee, and the rest of council, with the exception of Don Saunders. First, it has been my honor and pleasure to reside in the city of Bedford. Several years ago, I made a commitment that my company would donate $10,000 a year to the city of Bedford, provided that I was informed as to what the city needed in terms of money. It's been 2 years and I have been yet to be as informed as to what the city needed. Despite several requests to both my council member and many more requests to the city manager. I can only assume that they are so busy with their jobs, they're unable to take the time to spend a half hour to accept $10,000 in the benefit of the city that I have committed to giving to the city that I love and have lived in for the past 21 years. Despite this, I would like to express to the parties mentioned, I'm not angry, I am just a little disappointed. For the purposes of making up lost time and money, there is $20,000 worth of donations in these envelopes. Before I hand over these donations, I have a few points of concern that I would like to discuss. My first question is, I would like to know how much the Bedford Auto Mile donates to the city of Bedford annually.
They don't give like an annual donation. It's kind of been an open policy if there was something that was needed specifically. I will say last year they did make a donation to Bedford. It was either 50 or 60,000 last year, and then I believe they donated a portion to the Bedford City Schools.
So it fluctuates from year to year.
It is.
And am I correct that you put on an annual free catered breakfast to the Auto Mile to thank them for their charitable donations? And it's served here in City Hall, in this very room, that the mayor and all of the Auto Mile owners are invited, and city employees are encouraged to come to thank them for their generosity. My company and I, we don't want a breakfast. We don't want a plaque. We don't even want a public thank you. But my company and I would like is a short meeting once a year in my office, which is a half block away from here, so that someone can discuss with me how that donation money could be used. Ladies and gentlemen, I truly cannot express my profound disappointment that I have to literally chase down people to throw free money at them. I find it crass and distasteful to have to make a public display of my generosity. Those who know me know that I find my philanthropy here in Bedford to be an intensely private matter. But I will not be ignored in my efforts to help support the city I love. Next year, I expect at least one member of this government to make an appointment with me at my office so that we can discreetly discuss how my earmarked donation may best be used to improve the city of Bedford, so that I can be assured that it will be used in accordance with mine and my company's values. Or we can expect a repeat of this fiasco next year. The second thing I need to address is that Councilman Don Saunders will cease to imply to residents in and around the city of Bedford that the only reason that I adopted my two youngest children is for this a stipend that by Ohio state law, I must receive for adopting them in order to help cover their special needs. That money is put into a fund, and I have heard from more than one person that Don Saunders has said such things in this city. I find such comments vulgar and unbecoming of a council person. If they persist, Councilman Saunders and the city will be subject to yet another lawsuit because of what he said. Mayor Cochi and City Manager Malice, I sincerely hope that you will be having a private conversation with the involved parties about this, because if I get even a whiff of such an accusation publicly again, I will be suing the city of Bedford for slander. And I do not need or want a monetary settlement, which has been used in the past for such matters. I will walk my family's day in very public court to refute those accusations. Now, that those have been addressed, how about we make friends again? These are the checks. My first check, $5,000 to go to the police department. This money will be earmarked for protective gear for the police department. These fine people put their lives at risk every day, and I am sure that there is equipment that they could use to help keep themselves and the residents of our community safer. This check is for the fire department, $5,000. Our fire department is all we have to keep illness and death from our door, given the cowardly and classist actions of the university healthcare systems in removing such care from our community over the past few months. The Bedford Fire Department needs every bit of help that they can get. This next check is $5,000 for our Parks and Recreation, specifically to improve or add to our playground equipment and its oversight. I want my children's playgrounds to be safe places for my children to play. This past year, my children's playground was not a safe place for my children to play. I sincerely hope that this money will help fix that. And this last check is to go for holiday decorations. $5,000 to go to the purchase of either new or replacement winter holiday decorations for the downtown area of the city during the month of December. I have to admit, I'm basically agnosto-pagan is the closest thing I've been able to come up with. I believe in all holidays of the coldest part of the year. If something can bring something bright and warm to such a cold and miserable time of year, this money can support that. Pagan, Sikh, Muslim, Catholic, atheist, and anything else celebrated by humans in the coldest parts of the year. If someone has an idea about how to bring more magic to the commons in this month of December, this money can be used for that. I appreciate all of you and the effort that you do for this city, except for him. Thank you.
Heather, thank you. And you'll get a report on where the money's spent.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, Ann McPherson, 22 Crestwell, Bedford. I want to first apologize for my phone going off. I lost my sister yesterday morning.
Oh, so sorry to hear that.
Brother keeps calling me. I thought I had turned it off.
It's okay.
I had wanted to thank you all for paving Crestwell, but you all have burst my bubbles and say Dominion is going to do some more digging. Wow. I was so glad that you paved it. But my question is, the people that do construction for you all, they do it for the citizens of Bedford also, right? Because I would like to have the phone number, because I want my driveway repaired.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
check with the city manager, give him a
we
call
can
tomorrow
we
and,
can get you a contact list.
You, ask. And I do have some good news. When I came home from church yesterday, that was a moving ban at 21 Crestwell. They moved!
Can I comment on that? 21 Crestwell has been, over the years, it's been a lot of people in and out, and Annie lives right across the street, and she's my informant, and she's been great about, contacting the police and stuff, and the gentleman that was there passed away, that was our only, bright side of there. She could tell you to pick up trash and everything, but, it's sad when residents cheer that someone moves out. I always like when they cheer when someone moves in. So it's been a long time coming, so I just pray that the next residents that come in there, but, we hope we get one, I hope we get one like you on it, cause Andy, you're a gem, and, I've told you before, condolences about your sister. Thanks for contacting me about that.
thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Jeff Milani, and I live at 57 Eldred. And just in light of what Councilman Asbury was saying about the disaster in Florida, I thought it was just wonderful how Governor DeSantis had a emergency plan, comprehensive emergency plan put in place to respond immediately to a disaster of those proportions. My question is, if something, God forbid, should happen, that a disaster of that magnitude happened here in Bedford, Northeast Ohio, the electrical grid crashes, we have another supply chain problem or whatever, does the city of Bedford have a plan, well thought out plan put in place that they can implement immediately if indeed something like that should occur? That's my question.
Yes, and Mike, you can elaborate on that.
So I could get into a couple of the items. We do, even on a small level, as far as something like that, we would obviously be partnering and working directly with the Cuyahoga County Emergency Management Office. On a smaller scale, if we had a mass outage here of some level, for instance, thinking of a disaster, let's say it's just electrical and it only affected Bedford. We have a number of our facilities that are equipped with generators. We have a relationship with Red Cross where we could actually, and we have in the past, for instance, with bad storms, you hear of power outages, our concerns about seniors not being able to heat their home, whereas if we can transport them to the Ellenwood Center where we would have the Red Cross stationed there. I will say, in 20-some years, we've done that maybe 5 or 6 times. No one's ever shown up. No one's ever asked to get transported. A lot of times people just don't like to leave their home. But on a small scale, we do have plans in place for things like that. We will rely heavily on a major event of that nature. We will rely on emergency management. Our team here, something specifically happening in Bedford, obviously is fire chief, police chief, myself, and obviously Mayor Kochi. That is our working team that we have in place as far as where we're at. But a lot of times, you talk about Florida, there was something that came up the other day, and I know there's some dispute going on as far as the county evacuating certain areas, and the county waited to evacuate Fort Myers Beach. A lot of finger pointing going back and forth. Those cities and small cities, we heavily rely on, and it's very similar. We would heavily rely on, Cuyahoga County Chiefs Associations and things like that. Mm-hmm. But there's a number of items that we talk about regularly. Not just because of something that might have happened in another part of the country, but we've talked about, we do regular training. We do training for not only school shootings, God forbid, but we do training with all of our staff for any type of event here. We do training with our staff that may happen at, if it's the service department, a recreation center, where do you go, what is the lockdown procedures? All of that, we do that. And that's done regularly through our staff that are trained in situations like that within our police department. It's one of the, you know, and not to keep going on and on, but we all say we have some of the greatest staff, and we have truly great people here. And within police and fire, their training, you know, we rely on. And hopefully we never have to depend on that, but we would be.
That's okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Before we adjourn, just want to give a shout out to one of our own up here, Sandy Spinks, has been chosen to be the president of the Bedford Historical Society. We congratulate her on that. Been involved with them for quite a while, and they had a little shake up there, and Betsy, who was the president, is now the director, which is a good thing, and she knows everything there is to know about Bedford history. And we congratulate you on that. And before somebody asks, yes, she's allowed to be on the Historical Society. Should something come up where council has to vote on something for the Historic Society, she will have to recuse herself. It's the only stipulation we have, so, like I say, very good hands down there, keep up the good work.
A lot of good stuff. There has been a lot of shakeups. Jim Wagner, we've got 3 new board members, and I was so honored to be nominated. I was already vice president and was voted back in, and I wasn't even at the meeting to say no. But a lot of good stuff. If you haven't been down there, make sure you go. Our gift shop, Lori Schroeder has just done an amazing job, and we're really looking forward to opening up those bridges back to, you know, the Lions Club and Rotary Club, all the clubs. I mean, it used to be such a tight-knit thing, so building those relationships back is my number one priority, and I'm just honored. And thank you, Mayor, for.
Thank you. And motion for adjournment by Asbury, second by Saunders. Call the roll, please.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Thank you all for coming.
Congratulations.